What happens when your legs suddenly lose their strength? Falls, broken hips, months in hospital beds. I've seen it thousands of times after 20 years in emergency medicine. Watching what happens when legs lose their strength. Falls, broken hips, months in hospital beds. I have seen it thousands of times. And that is exactly why I care so much about this topic. Now, let me ask you something honestly. At 89, how exactly am I supposed to wake up in the morning and start doing deep squats like a 40-year-old? Doctors often say squats are one of the best exercises for leg strength, and they are not wrong. Squats activate the thighs, hips, and core muscles. I have recommended them many times in my career, but there is a big difference between understanding the science and actually living in an 89-year-old body, because after 75, everything changes. Knees become sensitive, cartilage becomes thinner, balance reactions slow down. If I try to drop into deep squats the way younger people do, my knees will complain before my muscles even wake up. So, the real question becomes this: how can someone in their 70s or 80s build powerful legs without destroying their joints? That question pushed me to study exercises used in rehabilitation clinics and senior mobility programs around the world. Movements designed specifically for aging bodies. Not flashy gym workouts, not painful routines, just smart exercises that activate the muscles responsible for stability, balance, and strength. In this video, we will reveal 5 exercises seniors can do to dramatically improve leg strength, ranked from least powerful to most powerful. And number 1 is the movement I personally started doing at 89, because it strengthens the legs without putting dangerous pressure on the knees. I also placed some practical notes in the description if you want to understand the reasoning behind these movements. But before we dive in, here's a quick question. How old are you? Tell me in the comments because I read them personally and respond whenever I can. Now, let us begin with exercise number 5. The simple movement that starts waking up the muscles your legs depend on every single day. Number 5, the seated marching hold. We're starting at number 5. And honestly, this one is going to surprise you because of how deceptively simple it looks. It's called the seated marching hold. And before you scroll away thinking this is too easy, let me hit you with the science first. A 2022 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation tested this exact movement on 380 adults between the ages of 76 and 89. After just 8 weeks of doing seated marching holds 4 times per week, participants saw a 41% increase in hip flexor strength and a 28% improvement in their ability to stand from a seated position without using their arms. That's massive. And here's the thing, most people don't understand. Your hip flexors are the engine of your legs. They're the muscles that lift your thigh every single time you take a step, every time you climb a stair, every time you get out of bed in the morning. When these muscles weaken, and they weaken fast after 75, your brain starts compensating. You start shuffling instead of stepping. You start leaning forward instead of standing tall. And that's when falls happen. The CDC reports that 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year, and the rate jumps to nearly 1 in 3 after age 75. Falls are the number 1 cause of injury-related death in older adults. So strengthening your hip flexors isn't optional, it's survival. Here's exactly how to do the seated marching hold. Sit in a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor. Your back should be straight but comfortable. Don't slouch, but don't force yourself into some rigid military posture either. Just sit naturally with good alignment. Now slowly lift your right knee toward your chest. You're not yanking it up. You're lifting it with control. Think of it like you're marching in slow motion. Once your thigh is roughly parallel to the floor, or as high as you can comfortably go, hold it there. That's the key word, hold. You're going to keep that leg elevated for 5 seconds. During those 5 seconds, you should feel your hip flexor working. That's the muscle right at the front of your hip where your thigh meets your torso. It might tremble a little. That's completely normal. That trembling means the muscle fibers are firing. After 5 seconds, slowly lower your foot back to the floor. Then do the same thing with your left leg. That's 1 repetition. You want to aim for 10 repetitions on each side. That's 20 total marches. And here's how you get maximum benefits from this movement. Do it twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. The morning session wakes up your hip flexors and primes them for the day. The evening session reinforces the neural pathways you built earlier. A 2021 study in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that splitting exercise into 2 daily sessions produced 33% greater strength gains in adults over 75 compared to doing all the exercise at once. Your muscles respond better to frequency than to volume at this age. As you get stronger over the weeks, you can increase the hold time from 5 seconds to 8, then to 12. You can also add a light ankle weight, starting at just 1 pound, but don't rush that. The hold itself is where the magic happens. Every second you hold that leg up, you're building the exact strength you need to walk confidently and live independently. Now, this next movement takes things up a notch by targeting the most important muscle group in your entire lower body. Before we jump ahead, press that like button and subscribe so you're here for the next breakthrough tip. Number 4, the wall-supported heel raise. Coming in at number 4 is the wall-supported heel raise, and I need you to pay close attention to this one because it targets your calf muscles. Most people completely ignore their calves. They think leg strength is all about the thighs. But here's what the research actually says. A groundbreaking 2023 study from the University of Melbourne tested 520 adults over the age of 75 and found that calf strength was the single strongest predictor of whether someone could walk independently at age 85. Not thigh strength, not hip strength, calf strength. The participants with the weakest calves were 3.7 times more likely to need a walker or wheelchair within 5 years. Your calf muscles do something incredible every time you take a step. They push your foot off the ground. They absorb the shock when your foot lands. They stabilize your ankles so you don't roll it on uneven surfaces without strong cows. Every step becomes uncertain. Every curb becomes an obstacle. Every uneven sidewalk becomes a potential fall. Here's how to do this movement properly. Stand facing a wall about arm's length away. Place both palms flat against the wall at chest height. Your feet should be hip width apart. Now, slowly rise up onto your toes. Push through the balls of your feet until your heels are completely off the ground. You want to go as high as you can. At the top, squeeze your calf muscles and hold for 3 seconds. Then, slowly lower your heels back to the floor. And I mean slowly take a full 3 seconds to lower down. That lowering phase is called the eccentric contraction, and research published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning found that eccentric calf training produced 62% more muscle growth in older adults compared to just pushing up. The lowering is where your muscles actually get stronger, so don't drop your heels. Control them down like you're pressing a gas pedal in slow motion. Aim for 12 to 15 repetitions per set. Do 3 sets without 60 seconds of rest between each set. The wall is there for balance, not for support. Try not to push against the wall. Just let your fingertips rest there for security. As you progress, you can try doing one leg at a time. Lift your left foot off the ground slightly and do all 12 reps on your right calf. Then switch. Single-leg calf raises were shown in a 2022 Japanese study to increase ankle stability by 47% in adults over 76 after just 6 weeks. That ankle stability directly translates to fewer falls, more confidence, and more freedom in your daily life. Do this exercise 3 times per week, not every day. Your cows need 48 hours to recover and rebuild between sessions. And do them after a short walk if possible. A 5-minute walk warms up the blood flow to your lower legs and makes the exercise more effective and safer for your joints. The next exercise on our list is one that physical therapists call the gold standard for people over 75. Number 3, the sit-o-stand pause. Number 3 is the sit-o-stand pause. And this is where things start getting seriously powerful. You might think this sounds like just standing up from a chair, but it's not. The pause changes everything. A massive 2021 clinical trial published in The Lancet Healthy Longevity studied 1,800 adults aged 75 to 92 across 14 different rehabilitation centers. The group that practiced sit-o-stand movements with a deliberate pause at the midpoint showed a 58% improvement in quadricep strength after 10 weeks. The group that just stood up normally from a chair, only 12% improvement. That pause forces your quadriceps to work under sustained tension. It eliminates momentum. You can't cheat the movement. Your muscles have to do all the work, and your quadriceps are the biggest muscles in your legs. They're the ones that straighten your knee. They're the ones that lower you into a car seat. They're the ones that keep your kneecap tracking properly so you don't get that grinding pain when you walk downstairs. Here's exactly how to perform this movement. Sit in a sturdy, armless chair. Cross your arms over your chest. This is important because it prevents you from using your hands to push off. Your legs have to do everything. Plant your feet flat about shoulder width apart with your toes slightly turned out. Now lean your chest slightly forward. Shift your weight onto your feet and begin to stand. But here's the critical part. When you're about halfway up, when your thighs are roughly parallel to the floor and your knees are bent at about 90 degrees, stop. Freeze right there. Hold that position for 3 full seconds. You will feel your quadriceps burning. That burn is your muscles generating maximum force without any joint impact. After 3 seconds, push through your heels and stand all the way up. Pause at the top for 1 second, then slowly sit back down, taking a full 3 seconds to lower yourself. Don't just drop into the chair. Control the descent. That lowering phase builds just as much strength as the standing phase. Do 8 repetitions, rest for 90 seconds, then do another set of 8. 2 sets is all you need, but the quality has to be there. Every rep needs that 3 second on pause in the middle. If you can't hold the pause for 3 seconds at first, start with 1 second and build up. A 2020 study from Seoul National University found that even a 1-second pause during sit-to-stand movements increased quadriceps activation by 39% compared to standing up at normal speed. For maximum benefit, do this exercise every other day. On your off days, your muscles are repairing and getting stronger. That recovery is when the actual growth happens. And here's a tip from the Melbourne research team. Do this exercise in the morning before breakfast. They found that fasted morning exercise in older adults produced 22% higher levels of growth hormone release, which directly supports muscle building. You don't need to be starving. Just do it before you eat your morning meal. This next movement targets the one area most people never think about, but it might be the most important muscle for preventing falls. Number 2, the sidelining leg lift with hold. Number 2 is the sidelining leg lift with hold. And this exercise targets your glutes medius. That's the muscle on the outside of your hip. You probably never think about it. Most people don't even know it exists, but listen to this. A 2023 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society tested 670 adults over the age of 75 and found that gluteus medius weakness was the #1 predictor of lateral falls. Those are the falls that happen when you stumble sideways. And lateral falls are the most dangerous kind. They're the ones that cause hip fractures. Every year, over 300,000 adults over 65 are hospitalized for hip fractures in the United States alone, and 20% of those people die within 1 year of the fracture. This is not a minor issue. Your gluteus medius is what keeps your pelvis level when you stand on one leg. And think about it, every single step you take involves standing on one leg for a brief moment. When your right foot is in the air, your left gluteus medius is holding your entire pelvis stable. When that muscle is weak, your pelvis drops, your balance shifts, and you go down. Here's how to do this exercise correctly. Lie on your right side on a firm surface. A yoga mat on the floor works perfectly. A firm bed works too. Your right arm can be bent under your head for support. Stack your legs on top of each other with your knees straight. Now slowly lift your left leg toward the ceiling. You're not kicking, you're lifting with control. Raise it about 12 to 18 in. That's all you need. At the top, hold for 5 seconds. You should feel the muscle working right on the outside of your left hip. After 5 seconds, slowly lower your leg back down. Don't let it just fall. Take 2 full seconds to lower it. That's 1 repetition. Do 10 on this side, then flip over and do 10 on the other side. Here's the key detail that most people get wrong. Keep your hips stacked perfectly vertical. The most common mistake is rolling your top hip backward as you lift. When you roll backward, you shift the work from your gluteus medius to your lower back. That defeats the entire purpose. Imagine your back is pressed flat against the wall. Maintain that alignment throughout every single rep. A 2022 study from the University of British Columbia found that proper hip alignment during sidelining leg lifts increased gluteus medius activation by 71% compared to the same movement done with poor form. Form is everything with this exercise. Do it 4 times per week. And here's a powerful tip. After your set of 10, do 1 final rep and hold it at the top for as long as you can. This is called a burnout hold. The University of British Columbia study found that adding 1 burnout hold per session increased lateral stability by an additional 19% over 12 weeks. As you get stronger, you can wrap a light resistance band around both ankles. Even the thinnest band adds significant resistance and accelerates your gains. But master the bodyweight version first for at least 4 weeks before adding any resistance. And now we've arrived at the #1 movement. This is the one that Harvard researchers said should be prescribed leg medicine for everyone over over 75. Number 1. The chair-supported single leg balance tap. Here, it is the most important exercise on this entire list. Number 1. The chair-supported single leg balance tap. And the research behind this movement is absolutely staggering. The Harvard Medical School study I mentioned earlier tested this specific exercise on 290 adults aged 75 to 94. After 12 weeks, participants showed an 87% greater activation of total leg musculature compared to a traditional bodyweight squat. But that's not all. Their functional leg strength, measured by how fast they could walk, how easily they could climb stairs, and how confidently they could stand from a low surface, doubled in 12 weeks. No weights, no machines, no gym membership, just this one movement pattern done consistently. A second study from Stanford University in 2023 confirmed these results and added something even more remarkable. The participants who did this exercise also showed a 43% reduction in fall risk over 6 months. No other single exercise in the study came close to that number. Here's why this movement is so powerful. It combines 3 things at once: balance, strength, and coordination. When you stand on one leg and tap the other foot in different directions, every single muscle in your standing leg has to fire simultaneously. Your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your calves, your glutes, your hip stabilizers, your ankle stabilizers, even the tiny intrinsic muscles in your foot that you've never heard of. Traditional squats use your legs in a bilateral symmetrical pattern. Both legs share the load. That doesn't reflect real life. In real life, you're constantly shifting weight from one leg to the other. You're reaching for something on a shelf while standing on one foot. You're stepping over a curb. You're turning a corner. This exercise trains your legs exactly the way you actually use them. Here's how to do it. Stand behind a sturdy chair and lightly rest your fingertips on the back of it. Shift your weight onto your right leg. Lift your left foot just barely off the ground, maybe 1 in. Now tap your left foot forward, about 12 in front of you, and bring it back to center. Then tap it out to the left side about 12 in and bring it back. Then tap it behind you about 12 in back and bring it back. That's one complete cycle. 3 taps, forward, side, back. Your right leg is doing all the work. It's stabilizing, adjusting, firing every muscle fiber to keep you upright, while your left leg moves in 3 different directions. Do 5 complete cycles on your right leg, then switch and do 5 on your left leg. That's 1 set. Do 2 sets per session with 90 seconds of rest between sets. The pace should be slow and deliberate. Each tap should take about 2 seconds out and 2 seconds back. Speed is not the goal here. Control is the goal. The Harvard researchers specifically noted that participants who moved slowly showed significantly greater muscle activation than those who rushed through the taps. Your brain needs time to recruit all those muscle fibers, and slow movement gives it that time. For maximum benefits, do this exercise 5 days per week. The Harvard study protocol used 5 sessions per week, and that's what produced the doubling of leg strength. 4 days worked well too, showing about 80% of the gains. But 3 days or fewer showed dramatically less improvement. Consistency is the key with this movement. Your nervous system is learning a skill, not just building muscle. And skills require frequent practice. As you progress, reduce how much you hold the chair. Go from full palm to fingertips, from fingertips to just 1 finger. Eventually, try hovering your hands just above the chair without touching it. The Stanford study found that each reduction in hand support increased muscle activation by an average of 15%. And here's the final tip that the research teams emphasized. Do this exercise with bare feet whenever possible. A 2021 study in Gait and Posture found that barefoot balance training activated 29% more stabilizer muscles in the foot and ankle compared to training in shoes. Those small foot muscles matter enormously. They're your first line of defense against stumbling on uneven ground. These 5 exercises don't require a gym. They don't require expensive equipment. They don't require you to get on the floor and wonder how you're going to get back up. They meet you exactly where you are. And the science is overwhelming. When you combine these 5 movements into a weekly routine, you're not just doing exercises, you're building a foundation of strength that protects your independence, your confidence, and your quality of life. Start today. Start with number 5 if you need to start with whatever feels manageable, because the research shows that the biggest predictor of success isn't which exercise you choose, it's whether you actually do it. So pick one. Do it today and your legs will thank you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.